I don't know what I did. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Terror Tuesday. If you're watching this today, because I'm filming this today and hopefully getting this up today. Today's video is about my neighbor that lives across the street. If you don't follow my vlog channel or me on Instagram, you probably know nothing about this situation. Or if you're just completely random out there, hello, welcome to my channel. Subscribe, sit down, grab some coffee. I did, because this is quite the story. So ever since I moved to my new place, which was July, beginning of July, I have been dealing with a neighbor who, by the end of this story, I have come to realize there's probably more to it than meets the eye. She's not just some psycho neighbor. It's definitely crazy, the things that have happened. Like, everything that happened was completely psychotic and scared the crap out of me. But I don't want to be insensitive and disregard the possibility of her having an actual mental illness. Obviously, I don't know her life. I don't know, anything about her really. I just know what I've seen and what I've experienced and the way that she's treated me, and that's what this story time is about. But I definitely don't want to be insensitive to mental illness and the possibility of that, because I am a huge advocate for mental health. I seek therapy myself. I speak to somebody. I think it's incredible to get help if you need it, or just speak to somebody if you feel like you need to speak to somebody. Mental health is incredibly important to me, and I would never want it to seem like I am making fun of somebody that may have a mental illness. And I just want everybody watching this to be sensitive to the fact that she might actually have some health issues. Most people in their right mind that are healthy and good probably wouldn't treat people the way that she treated me, which leads me to believe there's probably more going on. But let's just go into the beginning. I have notes so that I remember everything because I have a horrible memory, and I'm also really scatterbrained when it comes to story times, which is why I don't do any story times. So therefore I decided, let's make a note. So this experience started when I just had moved in. I was like fresh over here. I didn't have any furniture. I was literally sleeping on a blow-up mattress. In case you don't know, I have a backyard patio for the first time ever, and I have been so excited to decorate an outside space for as long as I can remember. I haven't done a good job of it thus far, but that's not the point. The point is, I was so excited, and I bought like string lights before even moving into the place. I was so excited. It was gonna be like one of the first things that I had up in my place. String lights, patio lights, just cute lights, okay? So in my patio, I have a very large wall because where I live, my area is very hilly. So I'm still on street level, but my neighbor behind me is also on her street level, but it's way above mine. So therefore there is a probably like 15-foot wall before you can even get to her lawn. It's like above mine technically because of the hill. So second night in my place, we are hanging up the lights. My boyfriend and I got a ladder and we had set it up, and it took us like probably an hour to set up the lights. We were going back and forth, stringing it from like the top of my wall to my balcony so that it would be across like my entire patio and look adorable. So we did like multiple back and forth with stringing it. So this was probably at like 10 o'clock at night. I don't know, it was dark outside. And then my boyfriend pulls me inside and he's like, there's somebody watching us. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't see anybody, but I'm also pretty unobservant. So as he's telling me this, all of a sudden we hear this crash. I'm like, what the heck is going on? We go outside, the lights have fallen, some bulbs have broken. So I just yelled, hello? And this woman starts screaming at us, telling us, no one lives here, what are you doing here? You're so disrespectful, you can't have lights up, like all of this stuff. I don't even remember because it was so long ago and I was in such shock over it. I'm somebody that really hates confrontation, and I also don't like doing things wrong. I feel very upset when somebody confronts me about doing something wrong. So I immediately just freaked out and apologized for everything because I just didn't know my rights. I didn't really know what was going on. I was confused. It startled me, so I just apologized. I didn't have any ounce of like anger or literally anything. I just wanted to be on good terms with the people that I was going to be living around. I was new to the area. I didn't have any intentions of starting off on any wrong foot. She went away, and after that I kind of figured like nothing was gonna happen. And I had shared this on my vlog channel talking about what had happened and everyone's thoughts, because I just didn't know what to do about it. I literally said, my life is not a TV show, like nothing's gonna be happening, this is real life. But this is like my real life, and I do not expect to have any more issues with neighbors. Like there's no plot here in my life where the neighbors are gonna come back and do all this crazy stuff. The woman across from me with the lights, I've never had an issue again. I've seen her, and I think she's just a bitter old lady, but she hasn't bothered me or done anything since, so therefore no problem. Little did I know. So nothing really happened for a while, and then I got balcony furniture, and we noticed like her watching us a little bit. I remember the first time I noticed it, and my boyfriend and I were sitting out on the balcony at night, just like catching up on the day. We like to sit out there before we get into bed. We were just sitting out there, and all of a sudden I see this like figure standing there, and it was dark, so I just saw like the shadow, and that's like pretty creepy to see, and the shadow didn't move. So we were like, wonder what that is. And it was the day that I got my iPhone 11 Pro. So I was like, oh, like let's test out the nighttime feature. It's like the low light setting that really makes a huge difference. So I took a photo, and I will preface that this photo looks like it was taken during the day because of this setting on my phone, but it was taken at like, I think 9:45 or 10 o'clock. And you could see like it's a person standing there just watching, and she just stood there the whole time we were out on the balcony. I don't know what she was doing. I don't even know if she could really see us, but she just stood there for probably like half an hour. I'm not sure. And then the next time I noticed it, my family was visiting. I had my cousin Carter here, and Carter and I went to sit on my balcony just to catch up because I hadn't seen him in a while. So we're talking, and then all of a sudden I see this woman come around and just stand there and watch us while we're having our conversation. She just, in daylight, like just watching us. So at this point I'm just like, this is really weird, but I'm sure she's harmless, and I again still think she's harmless. But then I had noticed she took my lights down again because I had put them back up. This was months after I put them back up. She just decided one day she was gonna take them back down. I didn't see it happen, so I didn't get it on video or anything. I just went outside one morning and my lights were on the ground. So I still haven't put them back up because I'm waiting for my dad to come. He's gonna drill a hole in the cement that she can't touch. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. There's no point of putting them back up just to have her put them back down. So she puts them back down, and then one day I'm sitting on my balcony, and one of my other neighbors in the community was on her balcony, and she saw me. So I've met her a few times. So she yelled down at me, and she was like, hey, can we chat about something really quick? And I was like, yes. So she came over, and she had a lot to say about the neighbor across the street. Everyone in my community knows the crazy neighbor as the witch. Apparently that's what people have called her for years. She has a black cat, so it's just kind of like one of those stereotype things. So if I refer to her as the witch, it's mostly because you guys know her as that, because I've told you on Instagram and stuff. I don't actually think she's a witch. It's just like a silly nickname that people are calling her. I don't mean disrespect by calling her that. It's just, that's how people that know about the story refer to her as. Also, it's just kind of like a lighthearted way to talk about it instead of feeling like really crappy about the situation. It's kind of more fun to be like, oh yeah, the witch did this, you know? So she's telling me all about, you know, the witch and kind of what people have experienced throughout the years, which gave me a lot of insight into what's been going on here. So obviously I'm the newest in the community, as well as my immediate next door neighbor. They also just moved in around the same time as me, and the previous owners that lived there had put up this green tarp across their fence so that the witch couldn't see them, because the previous owners had a lot of issues with, I guess, stalking, and so they needed to cover up the fence so she couldn't watch them anymore. So for years she's just stayed in her home watching people, and she'll come outside if she sees somebody outside, and she'll be like, why were your lights on at this time, and why were you watching TV till this hour? And I actually heard it the other day. I had my back doors open and I could just like hear the birds and whatnot, but then I heard her having a conversation with the neighbor and saying, why was your TV on at this hour? Like, what were you watching all night? It's little things like that, like that make you feel like you're not as safe in your home as you think you are. So she basically just warned me and said, hey, like really try to keep your chill if she ever comes outside. I'll try talking to her because I've built a relationship with her over the last 10 years. So I'll try talking to her and see if I can make things better. So I was like, okay, cool. And I felt good to like know it wasn't just me experiencing this, and it wasn't just like, wow, I must have done something wrong. So then comes not last Sunday, but the Sunday before that, so like a week and a half ago. This was the morning after a Halloween party that we had went to, and we were up pretty late, so I guess we turned our lights off at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, I don't know. Taylor's going outside to make us brunch. He was grilling some sandwiches and making us brunch, and I'm sitting inside hungover as hell, and I just heard Taylor mumbling outside, and I was like, what is he doing? Then all of a sudden I heard him come inside, and he's like yelling like goodbye, and I was like, what just happened? So he was outside grilling peacefully, like literally didn't have music on or anything. He was just quietly grilling out there, and apparently the witch comes down from her house, which is pretty far away, I want to say, and starts yelling, why were the lights on at 3 in the morning? You're so disrespectful. Turn off your bedroom lights. You're keeping me up. You're so rude. You guys are so young and disrespectful to your elders. That's what Taylor told me. I didn't hear it myself, so I don't really know, but it did fall in line with what I had been warned about, like her watching people and whatnot. So it made sense. So Taylor just ignored her, which is the best move, and what I have been trying to do. You can't really interact or try to get anywhere with somebody that just doesn't want to get there with you. So he ignored her and came inside and was like, that was nuts. She was just screaming at me. I didn't engage, I didn't respond, and she just kept yelling at me. So as he's inside telling me this story, all of a sudden we hear very loud banging on the wall. I'm like hungover as hell, but I jump up from the couch because I was like, I am not gonna let somebody hammer at my wall. Go outside and she is standing there with this massive tool. I don't know what it was. I think it was like a tree trimmer or like a branch trimmer or something like that. It was very big and she's just out there literally hammering at the cement wall, right where the last little string of lights were, which are definitely on the cement, which I was very aware is definitely mine. And she was trying to hammer through her fence to get to the wall. So I ran outside and I was like, hello, and here's the footage. I see her. Excuse me? Excuse me? Are you trying to take my lights down?
I'm trying to see how it's attached.
It's on my wall. It's on the cement.
It's in the cement?
Yep.
Okay.
Please don't touch my property again without my permission.
Your property, my dear, your property is your mouth. You bought an apartment. That doesn't mean you own the block. Why don't you think of others?
That's not your fence, though.
This is mine. This is mine.
The wall is not mine.
Exactly.
So
don't touch my stuff.
Sweetheart,
Yes.
sue me for touching your wall.
I will, actually. If you keep touching my property and my stuff,
Okay, sweetheart.
we're gonna have a problem.
You're on notice, okay?
I'm on notice? For what? What have I done? What have I done? So yes, I could have just like not said anything after she started walking away after I said that it was in my wall. But I was so aggravated that my Sunday morning was disrupted by this woman literally hammering at my fence. She didn't know where it was and she was still gonna break it down. So I felt like this is my one and only opportunity to say like, please don't touch my stuff or my property. I'm aware this is not okay. And the way she responded obviously wasn't very friendly or nice. And even acknowledging that she shouldn't be hammering at my fence or my stuff. Like she just didn't care, you know? Things like that, it's just, that's not somebody in their right mind, and that's probably somebody that needs help and might not have access to help. That's something just, it's hard to figure out what to do about that. You know, I don't know, and I don't want to be too invasive and like assume that she has all these mental issues and then like call the cops to check in on her. I don't know what to do, honestly. So that was Sunday. Nothing happened after that. It was all chill until Halloween, and that's when things really just escalated and I got really, really upset. And actually just watching the footage of what happened on that day gets my heart rate like really going, and I start to get like shaky because of the way that I felt that day. I've never actually felt the way that I did that day, and it was really scary. Even though I knew at the end of the day it was probably harmless, I was just really frightened. So Halloween. Halloween was on a Thursday this year, so I was just working as I normally do on a Thursday. And this day I actually decided to work out on my balcony. So I'm just peacefully sitting on my balcony, and I had work going on in my patio area. It wasn't work like by me, it was from my HOA. They were just doing stuff around the community. So work is happening and I'm sitting on my balcony just kind of like observing and making sure everything was good back there. And so the witch comes down to observe the work as well. She came all the way to the fence and just watched for hours. She would stand there at the edge of the fence just walking back and forth and stopping for 5 minutes here and there to just stand and observe, look inside of my living room, look at the workers, watch them as they go back and forth, watch me on the balcony. And I was just sitting there on my laptop like trying to get work done, and it was incredibly distracting because I felt it. You know, like, you know when you feel somebody watching you? I felt it. And I could see it too, but I just like, even if you're not looking, like you just feel it, and it feels so internally uncomfortable. And there were many times where I made eye contact with her. Like she knew that I saw her standing there. She just didn't care. And I started to get really uncomfortable, so I went inside and I went down to the living room thinking, okay, inside I'm gonna feel safe. Like no one can watch me. I'm actually starting to get like uncomfortable again thinking about it because it, okay. So I'm sitting on my living room couch, just trying to get my work done. This was like probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock at this point, and she had been watching me since probably 1:30 in the afternoon. And then I noticed some figure standing outside. And I don't know how long she was standing there before I noticed, but she was standing at the edge of the fence, just watching me in my living room. And there was no work going on. The guys had left at this point, so she was just standing there watching me. So I go outside, and I really tried to be as friendly as possible and as civil. You can definitely hear it in my voice and my breath that I was very nervous. You'll hear like it was heavy breathing because I was really panicked. And this is what happened. Hi. How's it going? Do you need anything?
Why are you talking to me?
You're looking down at my, you're staring down over here.
Yeah, but I have a right.
Why are you looking?
Because God gave me 2 eyes.
So you came over here just to look inside of my home? You're literally eating food and just watching me. I honestly would love to know how we got off on a bad foot. I don't know what I did. Please tell me. If you think it's so funny, I really would love to know.
You don't know.
Tell me, please. Please tell me. You haven't told me.
You know, I find the best way to teach is let the other person go into their mind, put on another pair of shoes, and think.
But I haven't done anything to you. You don't even know my name.
What you believe.
Oh, well then tell me. Be an adult and talk. Don't just walk away.
I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Then why are you looking at me? Why are you staring at me all day?
Because I have a right.
Oh, so you don't want nothing to do with me, but you want to stare at me all day? Creep me out?
Oh my God.
No, really, honestly. I'm trying to be civil with you. I would love to.
You're a teenager. I can't talk.
So after that, she found a chair and she just sat it down at the fence and had her bowl of food, and she just sat there eating it and watching me. And I tried to be civil and I kept trying to be like, let's talk it out, and she just ignored me. She just sat there completely ignoring everything that I said. So I ended up calling my boyfriend.
Yeah, so she set up a chair and she's just sitting.
Yeah, she's just sitting there.
You should walk out like.
I want you to come over.
Well, an hour.
I know. And I asked, I was like, how did we get off on the wrong foot? Like, how did we get here? And she started laughing at me.
Oh my gosh. At first it was like, okay, maybe like whatever. She's like grouchy and like. Whatever.
I know, I don't think we did anything.
No, I didn't. She's just like, that's like crazy things. Like, why is she sitting there watching you?
And he was obviously at work, so we couldn't leave. And then I called Jill, and I was just trying to call anyone because I was so uncomfortable. I felt so unsafe. Even though I knew I was fine, I felt so violated in a way. And on top of that, she just thought it was fun. Like, it was entertaining to her. And obviously, if she has mental illness, it's not her fault that she made me feel this way. Like, it's not her fault, and I don't want it to seem like I think, you know, like this bitch is crazy. Like, if it's actually like a mental illness, I put no fault on her, but the experience made me really uncomfortable. Regardless of her mental health or who it was or their age or anything, I just felt violated. And for the rest of the night, I was so paranoid that every sound that I heard, I started freaking out. And that might have been me being over dramatic, but I had never experienced anything like this before, and I felt so uncomfortable, and I didn't know what to do, and I was alone, and I just... It was really scary. And then the following day, there was the work happening in my patio again, and as well as the president of the HOA, who I'm friends with. He's a great dude. So I came downstairs because I heard his voice, and I was like, hey, like, can I talk to you about this? I just don't know what to do. I don't know. So I talked to him about what we can do about the fence situation, because obviously I don't want her to have access to watching me at night, during the day, whenever she wants. I would just prefer to block the view, and then I think that there'll be no more issues going forward. So as I was talking to the president of the HOA, he was talking to me a little bit about the property lines, because I was asking him like what my rights were. When he first moved in, he looked at all of the information about the neighborhood, the city, whatever. So basically where the fence is, that's my property. She extended her lawn out of her property line like by 3 feet. And you can see that because the houses next to her house have their fences where the property line is. And hers, she just decided, fuck that, I'm gonna put mine 3 feet over the property line. So she's actually in violation of something, I don't honestly know. So basically when she's standing right up against her fence, that's technically my property. As I said earlier, I'm not trying to cause any more issues, especially if she is a mentally ill woman. I'm not trying to make her life more difficult, obviously. So that's kind of where we're at now. I'm going to pitch my idea to the HOA, to the board, and see what they can do. That's kind of where we're at now. So obviously I'll update you guys when the fence goes up and when things happen. And once the fence is up, I can almost guarantee there will not be another issue with her, which is why I'm doing the story time now. I think we are gonna wrap up this story now. I was thinking about calling the non-emergency line and getting like a welfare check over there, or well-being check. I'm not really sure what it's called. I was really thinking about getting someone just to check in over there. I don't know the status of inside her home or what her life looks like. I don't know anything about this woman. The only other time I've really encountered her, I was going on a walk throughout the neighborhood, and I was walking by her house, and she was just standing in the middle of the street, like literally in the middle of the street, looking inside of everyone's cars and just standing there. Like she just didn't care. That's, you know, a sign that maybe somebody should be taking care of her. So I don't really know what to do. I would really, really appreciate some advice here. I've never experienced anything like it, so advice would be very, very appreciated. A lot of you wanted me to call the cops immediately and like tear this bitch down, but like that's not the approach I'm trying to go for here. I'm not that person. I'm not trying to bring somebody else down, especially somebody that might be sick. I don't think the approach of like attacking her or, you know, being nasty back is the right approach. You just don't fight fire with fire, so. Okay, that's about it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little nuts, but here we are. Love you guys so much. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you guys next Tuesday with my next video.